All right, here we go. So welcome again to our Suburban Advocacy call. Um, I'm Maggie Shortsky from the Active Transportation Alliance, and let's do our round of um, intros. So, and let's do popcorn style. And if you forget or if you don't know who hasn't gone, I can help. Um, so, so say your name. So I'm Maggie Sherwinsky. I live in Chicago in Ukrainian Village, and I work for the Active Transportation Alliance. So if you have any affiliations, so I will pass it to Dave, my co-host.
Maggie, Dave Simmons, live in Elk Grove Village and executive director of Ride, Illinois. Good to see everybody here. I'm going to pass it to the other Dave Simmons, which I believe is Savannah. Savannah, my colleague from Ride, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Savannah. I'm in Downers Grove, and I'm the development and membership coordinator at Ride Illinois. And then I'll pass it over to Bill.
Oh, unmute yourself. Oh, perhaps I am unmuted. Hello, everybody. Bill from Downers Grove.
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Ben,
Oh,
if
good
that
to
was
see
you.
you.
Oh,
Um,
I got to pass it to
yeah.
Ralph.
Which
Hi,
which
Which
Ralph
one?
Masiak from Palatine. I'm the biking columnist for the Daily Herald. I belong to a couple other clubs out here as well. And I'll pass it on to Brian Larson.
Oh, thanks, Ralph. Hi, everybody. Brian Larson. I am Program Associate for Transportation with the Northwest Municipal Conference in the daytime. And in the evening, I am also affiliated with the Arlington Heights Bicycle Club. With that, I will popcorn over. Saw my colleague Eric Charnota over there. Eric, can't hear you. You might need to check your mic settings. It might still be on the
There we go. Okay, there we go. Fixed. Hi, everybody. Eric Trinota. I'm also a program associate with the Northwest Municipal Conference, and I live in Mount Prospect. And I'll popcorn it over to Brad Olson.
Hey, Eric. Thank you. I'm Brad Olson from Park Ridge. I work on the Sustainability Commission there. And I'm excited to see a few of you guys this weekend. We're having a movie about bike infrastructure. So if anybody's not aware of that, Maggie will send you the link probably after this call and come on out and see us. And let me popcorn it over to Peggy and Chad.
Sure. Peggy here,
Chad here.
Chad here. We're staying off camera because we're eating lunch. We're volunteers in Niles.
And Peggy, do you want to mention there's a meeting coming up in Niles you might want to get some people out to?
Yes, and Brad, I don't remember the exact date. There is one next Wednesday about the Oakton side path, but there's a bigger one in June that we want folks to show up for.
Yeah, you don't have to answer right now. We can get that date to Maggie. But
Yeah, we will for sure. And I just want to say I am on the board of the Active Transportation Alliance, and we are members of both the Active Transportation and Ride Illinois. So thank you, Maggie, and thank you, Dave.
And I'll pass it on to the other Ralph.
Hi, Maggie. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm the other Ralph. I'm with the Illinois Prairie Path, and just a shout out, we're having our annual cleanup this Saturday, the 26th. If anybody feels like coming out or passing it along to anybody, go to our website and you can sign up for it. Thanks. Maggie, who should we
All right,
pass it to?
let's see. Let's pass it to Ben Harris.
Hi, so I'm Ben, and I'm actually writing this down. First and foremost, Elizabeth, who can't, she's on the call. I'm a former pupil of hers. She was my LCI instructor, and she is a newly certified, league certified coach, so she can do a lot. I'm part of Ride Illinois a little bit. I want to do a shout out for Grand Illinois bike tour that's coming up, as well as the Walk Bike Summit, which you'll get inundated with information with, and with the Skokie Bike Network. And last but not least, I'm going to be a representative of the ATA, Active Transportation Alliance, at the Park Ridge film screening. And Maggie's my mentor, is giving me talking points.
Yeah, thanks, Ben, for doing that. And Ben, actually, while you're here, do you think you can talk today about your Metra, Bikes on Metra focus group and the work you've been doing around that?
Oh, I would be happy to.
We'll make sure to reserve some time for that because I think people will be interested.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And I'll pass it to Steve Johnson.
Hi there, Steve Johnson with the East Branch DuPage River Trail, friends thereof. On this call, along with my compatriot Ginger Wheeler is here today too. So we're all excited because there is a big public information meeting coming up, and we'll talk more about that in the proper slot. And other than that, I just represent people in Wheaton and Glen Ellen. And I'll pass it to Ginger.
I'll go next. Ginger Wheeler. I'm the president of the Friends of the East Branch DuPage River Trail. We have a big meeting coming up on Tuesday. We're excited about it. Hoping people are going to come out and tell our county planners what they're looking for in a beautiful, lovely, meandering recreational trail along the river. And I was on the Ride Illinois board until last night, went off as a director, had a nice 3 years doing that and enjoyed it very much. And also thanks to Ralph for a shout out for putting the meeting on Tuesday in your column, Ralph. That was great.
Good.
And also thanks to Neil for including it in on his website. And I guess I'll pitch it over to Neil, popcorn it to Neil.
Thanks, Ginger. Hi, everybody. My website is suburbanchicagobicycling.com, where I write about all kinds of biking things going on across the vast suburban region. And I'm a former Daily Herald editor. I'm on the fundraising and membership committee of Ride Illinois, and I am in Schaumburg. So I don't know who's all going in. I'm looking at Bill Schauberg. I can pass it to him.
We had Bill. I can help.
Okay.
Not eligible.
Oh no.
How about Caroline?
Me?
Yeah.
Carolyn Scarrett. I live in DeKalb. I'm part of the Kishwaukee Bike and Rec Club on Strava, and we do a lot of road cycling because we don't have a lot of trails in DeKalb, and the ones we do are not connected to each other, so you end up on the road, and I'm on a trike, which makes things very exciting-ish, especially for my colleagues who are not on trikes because they're worried someone's going to run over me. I will be going to the Bike and Walk Summit for the first time this time, bringing my trike. So for those of you who are going to be on the ride, you'll get to ride with somebody on a recumbent trike if you've never had that experience before. I'm 6 inches off the ground. But I'm excited about the summit. I've been a member of Active Trans, I want to say since 2014, and I've ridden most of the bike that drives. I've done 3 now on a trike, which is super exciting. And it's one of the rides it's been very accessible for somebody on a trike, which is great, especially if you park in the parking garage that's over by the Soldier Field Stadium, because you can just trike in and out. You're not dragging your bike behind you, which is not fun for the other garages. So yeah, just looking for fellow people that also are on 3 wheels, because it's a little bit different way of getting around. So.
Well, thanks, and good tip about bike to drive. Start on the south side. I'll find someone else. How about Brad? You're muted.
Sorry, I said I already went. I apologize.
Oh, did you? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like,
No worries. Who's left? There aren't too many.
Agatha.
For CMAP, I am a senior analyst, and I also manage Bikeways inventory data system for the region. often ride on the Plains River Trail as I live in the Plains.
And what else?
Oh, I think
Yeah.
Helen didn't have a chance.
Who did
yet.
it?
Helen.
Oh, Helen. Yes. Okay. Helen, you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Helen Miller. I both live in Joliet and then work for the city of Joliet, and I'm just personally and professionally interested in bike and pedestrian infrastructure.
Great.
And then has Valerie gone?
No.
Hey, everybody. It's nice that as I keep going on these calls, I know more and more of you. I lead Ride Riverside, and we have monthly slow rolls. Our next one is on Friday, May 9th at 6 p.m. And if you don't know about Riverside, we're about 9 miles west of Chicago, and it is one of the most idyllic places you can ever ride a bike. That's like on the street. So please join us if you can.
Let's do Sarah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah Fiorito, and I don't know if that you meant me, Sarah, because I'm guessing there might be other Sarahs on the call.
Yeah, you.
Okay, great. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. My name's Sarah. I work at the city of Evanston, and I also grew up in this area. And did we have a prompt, or was that the main thing we're sharing?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Great to be here with you all.
Yeah. Thanks, Sarah. Melissa?
Yeah, Melissa Bukowskis with DuPage County Division of Transportation. Steve and Ginger already brought it up, but we do have a public engagement event on Tuesday, and looking forward to talking a little bit more about that when time allows in this meeting. And I believe Ryan hasn't gone yet. Ryan Peterson.
Hey everyone, Chicago resident and transportation planner. Just looking forward to joining the conversation.
And Mikey?
Sawyer here from Streamwood. A member of Bike Peloton Club, Friends of Cycling Elk Grove. I'm a volunteer with Ride Illinois on the Programs and Events and Programming Committee and a RAT, and started Streamwood Biking. I will pass it on to Brian Lee.
Hey, Brian Lee here from Niles, part of the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Group for the Village of Niles, also part of Bike Walk Niles, and working together with some of our other local groups for the Suburban Advocates for Safe Streets.
Great. And then I think if I missed anyone, let me know, but I know Elizabeth is off camera. She added an intro to the chat, and she's in the south suburbs, organizer of the Chicago Rite of Silence, which we partner with her on. She's an expert and also a cycling coach through the league, so she can teach people how to ride, teach all of the safety aspects of biking. So a great resource. Anyone else that we missed here? Sorry if I missed you. Okay, I think we got everyone. All right, well, let's jump into, we'll start with updates from Dave, then I'll share a few updates, and then we'll we'll queue up Ben to talk about bikes on Metra, and then let's also queue up the East Branch DuPage River Trail meeting after that, and then open it up to anyone else. And thank you all for sharing all of your events already. It's exciting. Summertime is always exciting because there's lots of fun, very creative events happening, and I hope you can attend some of the events going on around the region. So with that, Dave, do you want to take it over?
Sure, yeah. Thanks, Maggie. And good to see familiar faces and then a few new faces on this call. It's going to kind of run through a few categories related to Ride Illinois and some of the work we've been doing, and happy to answer questions or maybe even answer them in the chat. Just kind of quick organizationally, as Ginger mentioned, we had a change on our board last night. 4 directors moved off and 4 new directors moved on, including Steve Sanders, who sometimes attends these meetings, might be a name that you all know. And then Savannah is on board, and one of the first things of like the 1,000 things she's doing is working on our spring membership appeal. So you'll start seeing information about that. Of course, we appreciate all of you who are members already. The main event that's coming up, and several folks on this call are fully aware or maybe speaking at the Illinois Bike and Walk Summit, or Caroline, I saw you just registered this morning, so good to put a face to a name. I'm going to try to hold up this little sticker, and I never know how it works because I got my blur on. But this is from our keynote speaker, Tom Flood. It's Bicycles Deliver the Freedom That Auto Ads Promise. So that'll be a little giveaway for folks who attend. We're in good shape. The event is May 7th and or 8th in Springfield. So some folks have said they can't attend 2 days, which we fully understand. May 7th is mostly, I would say, the traditional conference with breakouts, breakout sessions, workshops, keynotes, that kind of thing. May 8th, there are some more focused sessions, including an advocacy training and then a lobby day in the afternoon. So if you can only make one or the other, please do still join us. There's no fee to participate in the May 8th sessions other than a technical training. So info@riotillinois.org, dave@riotillinois.org, or savannah@riotillinois.org. We can get answers to your questions. But we got a pretty good speaker lineup. In addition to those who are sharing their knowledge in the breakouts, we have Senator Mike Simmons speaking, the mayor of Springfield, IDOT's Chief Operating Officer, John Donovan. We did ask for the new secretary, but she was unavailable. And then Tom Flood, who I mentioned earlier, and possibly former U.S. DOT Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood. We're waiting to hear back from him. So check out IllinoisBikeWalkSummit.org. If you can't attend, we'd appreciate if you'd spread the word. Savannah was we were talking catering details and with AV and all this kind of crazy stuff that goes into putting on a conference. So we hope to see and look forward to seeing many of you in Springfield in less than 2 weeks now. Education related, Elizabeth mentioned her role as organizational LCI coach for Ride Illinois, and we are still planning to offer 2 seminars in 2025. So we need to start discussing those details here soon and get those on the calendar. So anyone interested in becoming a league cycling instructor, that is the kind of the vehicle to do so. Recently, and I know Maggie's always so good, I send Maggie an email ahead of time with kind of the details, and she does a nice job of collecting everything together, including what you share. But Chicago Family Biking did a really well-run training on bike bus leaders. So they offered up that information on their website. So we'll share a link there. Bike buses are certainly something that is of interest, and probably to all of you as well. So want to be able to share resources that are out there. And then the bike walk curriculum, or safe bike walking curriculum in Illinois schools, which we talked about more, say, 18 months or a year ago. We're trying to get that back on the House Education Policies Committee's radar. So got some interest from Rep. Janet Yang Rohr and Rep. Michelle Mussman. So we're hoping to start those conversations again after this current legislative session. Speaking of the current legislative session, 3 bills that just kind of want to highlight here, and Maggie, again, we pre-discussed these, but feel free to chime in. But 3 that I want to share with folks, kind of hot off the presses, if you will. The micro-mobility battery standards. So this is Senate Bill 2247. There's a hearing in the House Consumer Protection Committee next week. So if that bill passes through committee, it'll go on to a full House vote. It has already passed the Senate, and I should say all these bills have passed the Senate. The bicycle safety stop bill, which was Senate Bill 2111, that was actually discussed yesterday in a hearing for the House Transportation Vehicles and Safety Committee. We're not exactly thrilled with how it was presented. So it did not get voted on. We're hoping it'll be brought up again for another vote in the next couple weeks. In the meantime, there's going to be some work done, certainly by Amy and Active Trans, and by our lobbyists as well, to make sure that when that's presented the next time, the rep has the appropriate answers and correct information. But we can celebrate, at least temporarily celebrate, that Senate Bill 2285, which is the definition of a bicycle, essentially adds or makes three-wheel bikes and trikes and adaptive bikes legal on Illinois roads. This is really something that probably should have been done a while ago, but it's moving along. It's passed the Senate. It passed through the House Transportation Vehicles and Safety Committee yesterday. And the next step is the full House vote. Our lobbyist says that that could take place as soon as today. So we'll keep tabs on that. If it passes the House, then it'll go off to the governor's desk for signature. Maggie or anyone have any questions about? Well, Maggie, let's start with you. Anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, just to add that, so to add a little bit about that safety stop bill. So that's like some people call it the Idaho stop. So it's, allowing bicyclists to yield at a stop sign as long as it's clear. We were like in the Senate, we were like worried about the Senate initially because it can be a controversial bill. It's not always intuitive to people. Like, why would you allow something like that? But like, there's a lot of studies out there that show that it improves safety for everyone, and it reduces collisions. And a number of like 10 plus states already have a law like this, and and they've had it. Some have had it for over a decade. So it's an established law in other parts of the country. But in the Senate, we were wondering what's going to happen, and I think between Ride Illinois and Act Trans, we had some action alerts out there, and you guys helped us reach 57 out of 60 senators, which was amazing. So I think that made a big difference, and it passed by like quite a large margin. And Senator Simmons was actually like the champion of this bill. And I missed his talk about it. Like, you can watch all of the senators and representatives speak online, but you have to watch it live. I missed it, but I heard it was really good. And just the fact that he's speaking at the summit on May 7th, feel like he's a great speaker and someone you don't want to miss. So just another plug for the summit in a couple weeks. So that's a safety stop, but we're expecting, like, we'll see what happens in the House, but it could be a tight one, a close race. So we'll be sending out more action alerts again. So appreciate if you can spread the word and take the action alert yourself, just to reach out to your representatives. It helps a lot. And then let's see, I wanted to mention this is a bill from last session that I just wanted to plug, that passed really in veto session, so the end of last year. But just in case you weren't aware of it, it was all about improving intersection safety on state routes. And like previously, there were just some restrictive rules about certain intersections. If a truck is going to be turning at that intersection, you can't have a refuge island, you can't have curb bump outs, you can't have like all of these safety features for people walking and biking. And that bill got worked out during veto session, and I'm getting a little bit of feedback for some reason. So anyway, that we have
It's
a blog
Patrick
post
Dorgan's
about it.
account.
Oh, I see.
So if they could mute themselves, that would probably resolve the issue.
Okay. Thanks. But I'll post the blog if you're curious to read more about that. It's a exciting win that, like, it's kind of like in the weeds a little bit, but it will hopefully see safer intersections being built around our state because of that state policy now.
I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat right now. So yeah, go ahead,
Great.
Dave. You can keep going.
Oh, as long as I'm here, great.
yeah.
Steve Johnson with the East Branch DuPage River Trail. We have a lot going on. Ginger, unmute yourself so you can chime in if you like. So our trail may be happening. So first of all, I've just put in the chat the survey that's being put out there by the DuPage County Transportation Department. It's supposed to be taken down pretty soon. Any one of you can take it. If you have not done so, please do so. We keep stressing that this is a regional trail and it's a connector trail. It benefits everyone here. Southern DuPage Trail, the DuPage Trail. Uh, Even up north, with this trail, you'll be able to connect to things you could not connect to before. And if you like to ride long distances like I do on trails, this is a great opportunity. So it's important to take the survey to put in. If you're from far away, that's okay. Put it in there and tell them you're a trail user and tell them you not only support building this trail, but that you want to have a nice trail. A greenway is envisioned along the East Branch DuPage River, not a sidewalk down Illinois Route 53, which is being touted as a money-saving alternative. It's also being plugged by a small but very vocal neighborhood group that really doesn't want to see a trail, but they're pretending they'd like to see a trail just far away from wherever they live. They're out spreading things such as we're going to cut down old growth trees. And what else are they saying, Ginger? That
Oh, my favorite is that it will spoil the status of a DEI playground because it will bring strangers to the playground, which will
right?
then endanger the children who are special needs children. It's a
Our
complete fiction,
our
not
trail's going to bring gang members in, is what
oh,
we're
from
told.
Lombard.
From Lombard, yes.
That's a good
Uh,
one.
so it's important to get feedback from people who understand trails. Secondly, if you're anywhere nearby and able to come out, you're invited to. Well, it comes out backwards on here, but there is a meeting, and I will put it in the chat at in unincorporated Lombard at Butterfield Road, Route 56 and Route 53. And it is on this Tuesday, April 29th from 4 to 7. It's an open house, typical public information meeting. I'll bet everybody here has been to these meetings where we show up and we ask questions and we express our support. That particular meeting is very near some of our opponents. When I talk about our opponents, we should say there's a group that has perhaps half a dozen people versus our 5,000 or 6,000. But nonetheless, they want to make a little noise. So it would be great to have trail advocates there. Once again, pointing out the need for connection. So we'd love to have you there as a show of support. Again, that's Tuesday, April 29th, 4 to 7 p.m. in Lombard. And as I said, I'll put the address in the chat right now. Have I missed anything, Ginger?
I'm just going to throw the FAQs into this chat so you guys can read our FAQs, it's our attempt to counter the misinformation that's being spread by this opposition group.
Very good. I think that's it.
If I could actually just jump in on the survey. Sorry, Melissa Rakowskis, DuPage County. The survey is open until May 16th, so definitely want to get all of the feedback. If people have not taken it, please still continue to share it. We'll still be having that until May 16th.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And so, yeah, that open house, as Steve mentioned, come and go as you feel necessary, but really looking at getting some general feedback. It's an opportunity for people to learn about the project in general, kind of looking at the different potential alternatives for the route, and generally share your feedback and ask any questions if there's anything else. We will have information out there for general FAQs, kind of addressing some of the stuff that has come out, regarding the trees. We're not cutting down thousands of trees or anything like that. So kind of clearing up some of that information. So if anyone is interested in coming, there's going to be our staff as well as our consultant who will be out there and answering any questions.
And you'll be there.
Yes, I will be there.
Very good.
Maybe you'll be nicer about addressing these claims than I am, because I just call it BS.
Do you all recommend, you don't have to just be from the nearby area to attend that meeting, right? Anyone is welcome to attend to.
Yeah, it's an open meeting. So if anyone's interested in coming to learn about it and wants to provide any feedback, even the survey, some of the questions are asking, are you around the trail? And because it is a regional trail, if you're going to use it, kind of getting some feedback that way. So doesn't necessarily mean you have to be directly related to Lombard or the surrounding area.
I mean, the trail is envisioned to bisect the entire county eventually. So it would run all the way north-south, the whole 30 miles of DuPage County. I mean, this meeting, obviously right now they're just focusing on this little part of it. It's kind of like, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? So this is like the first bite.
I think it's important to remember you can live in Crystal Lake, you could live in Zion, and yet because of the improving Illinois Trail Network, you will be able to connect with this trail and get to places you haven't been before. So you don't, I see Bill nodding his head because he's in Downers Grove, so near and yet so far, this trail that we're building. It's a connector, and it's really, we all here know how important it is to tie trails together.
Great. Well, thank you. And well, we hope you get a great turnout and spread the word. It sounds like a lot of people are helping spread the word, which is great.
Yes. Yeah, and thanks to everyone.
Yeah. All right. I have a few updates to share real quick, and then we'll pass it to you, Ben. So just
Maggie?
Oh yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I have one question for him.
Yeah.
He said that it was going to be at the intersection of 53 and 26. What's the facility it's at?
The Butterfield Park District.
Yeah.
So it's just east of that intersection.
53 and 56 on Route 56, Butterfield Road.
At the Butterfield Park District. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Great. All right. So a couple other updates. So some grants so you're aware of the Safe Routes to School grant that's coming up in August. And it's 100% funding for walking and biking improvements around a few miles of a middle school or elementary, middle school, or high school through Illinois Department of Transportation. And we're doing a webinar series again this year. And we actually have a kickoff webinar next Tuesday. This is kind of like the Earth week in April. The end of April is a busy month, but also on Tuesday on the 29th, we're doing a webinar about to help schools think about putting together an action plan for safe routes to their school. So if you are affiliated with the school in any way, I'll make sure to send that link out because it would be great to share that webinar with them so that they're prepared for that grant opening in August. And then there's Dave, what is the other grant that's out there? It's IDNR grant.
Yeah, it is called the
Bike path grant.
The bike path
program, right? Yep.
Right. And that's due May 9th, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So for trails, for side paths, for biking, another grant to share out with your local communities. And Ryan just put in the chat the Safe Streets for All grant is out right now. So that is, Ryan, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so actually most of the most of the communities on this call will actually be covered by an ongoing Safe Streets for All of the six Chicagoland counties are doing one right now. So if your county approves it, then your municipality is eligible for implementation funding. That is due June 26th. And you can either go for demonstration grants once you have that safety action plan in place, or you can go for implementation funding to enact some of the projects in the plan itself. So yeah, definitely reach out to your community heads and make sure that you are putting forward some, because we are not sure if there will be future Safe Streets for All funding available.
And Ryan, do you know over the last few years, all of the counties have been doing these safety action plans. Do those have to be finished before you can get that implementation grant?
They do not need to be finished, no, but your community does have to pass a Vision Zero or crash reduction commitment at the board level in order to be eligible for implementation funding. It's expected that all the counties will be approving the safety action plans on May 30th at the CMAP Transportation Committee meeting.
Hey, oh, exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another one. Yeah, definitely make sure your municipalities know that they could get some money for actually building improvements for walking and biking and safety.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and demonstration grants are really
And
powerful too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And at least on the Cook County side, there are plans to make the data available a little earlier than the May 30th date. So that way you can your communities can get a head start on it. We'll be sending notifications to especially our member communities once we're aware that that's been released.
So, yeah, thank you. Valerie, did you have a?
Could you just repeat what you said about Vision Zero?
Yep. So in order to be eligible, you have to have a draft safety action plan in place, at least a draft. It's better to have it approved, but you do need to have a Vision Zero, which means that you have to have a timeline to get to zero roadway fatalities and a strategy and process to get there as well, which is typically enclosed within your safety action plan. You don't actually you have to make strides towards that, but there is no like, hey, you didn't get to that goal, so now you don't get the money or anything like that. It's just committing to making your community safer and of hopefully getting to zero deaths.
Wait, so how much money is available?
So this year, I believe it's 890 million, with about 40% going to the to planning grants. And so that means there's a lot of money out there for planning, but still a lot of money for implementation too.
Ryan, that actually got dropped from 40 to 30%
Oh, okay.
for our webinar yesterday that USDOT put out. There's also a limitation by each state. Each state can only have a maximum of $15 million. They're trying to obviously share it across the entire breadth of the country. So that's a limitation we sort of run into in terms of overall applications, but that still gives a significant chunk of interventions that your community can potentially implement, including you can do supplemental work too under the planning and demonstration if you find that there's additional research that you want to go into for planning efforts.
Okay, great. I'm glad we have some knowledgeable experts on this call who can share all of these details. Thank you all.
Aggie, can I real quick just chime
yeah,
in
go ahead.
I know we're talking about a lot of funding that comes from the federal government. So those of us that were out in DC for the National Bike Summit had learned the day of Lobby Day that the current administration was pulling back on some discretionary funds, which is not, it's in the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge amount of money that goes to transportation, but they're kind of in the crosshairs, if you will. So we know that's happening. I think we will have to wait and see what the impacts of that are, but also at the same time at the federal level that the discussions for the next transportation bill are already underway. If folks are connected with League of American Bicyclists, they've been sharing out some information about trying to decide what those priorities are. We do expect to see in that next bill that there'll probably be another dip in funding for bike and ped. So some of the money that's been obligated through the IAJA will remain. But then for that next 5-year bill is where it's anticipated could be a greater reduction in bike ped funding. So keep tabs on the national partners who are working on this. I'm sure there will be action alerts and opportunities to voice your opinions there as well. So obviously a lot of that money comes from DC and trickles down through IDOT and that. A lot of moving parts. So just wanted to make sure folks are aware of that.
Thanks, Dave. And I was at a webinar also recently. There's been a lot of these webinars on just what's going on at the federal level and funding. But there was a recommendation, I think it was Rails to Trails recommended if your community is applying for a federal grant, they recommended like some key words to use and things to emphasize. And they said economics is helpful to talk about, family, quality of life, safety, and cost effectiveness. So like, is it, they want to make sure I guess they were using return on investment is sound. So just some things to think about if you are involved at all in applying to funding. All right, so thank you all for that info. So a couple other things, and then Ben will get to you. So sorry for the delay. So Bike Month is starting May 1st. May is Bike Month, so there's a lot of cool events going on in the suburbs. I saw there's Highland Park is doing the Empire Bikes Back ride on May 4th for Star Wars, which I thought was creative. I think Forest Park, I saw there's a bike safety carnival open to anyone. There's a lot of bike rodeos going on throughout the region. In Niles, there's a bike ride where you're gonna bike to the leaning tower of Niles and climb up to the top, perhaps, if you're up for it. So anyway, there's lots of fun events. Please share any events that you're aware of or you're organizing in the chat, and we'll make sure to get the word out. So yeah, May will be an exciting month with lots of activity. In May we also have the Movers and Shakers Ball, which is our the Active Transportation Alliance. It's just a fun event. It's a fundraiser for our organization, but it's also this year we're going to have a World's Fair exhibit where there's a lot of it's going to showcase. There's a handful of firms that have submitted like what could transportation look like in the next 40 years, and there's some creative ideas, and I'm just adding the blog link in there. There's some renderings, some images you can look at in the blog, but that will be at that ball on May 2nd. And then a couple other events. Project Sidewalk, we're still working with the University of Illinois Chicago to help people virtually map their sidewalks and bikeways in their community, and we're having an open mapping session where if you're interested in mapping your community, you can drop by on Zoom. Put that in the chat as well. It's we're doing that on Monday, May 5th in the evening. And there's like in the suburbs, we've gotten a lot of people auditing their sidewalks. So Elgin, Des Plaines, Villa Park have and several other communities are all doing a lot of mapping in their communities, which is exciting. So that, elected officials know where the issues are, and we can improve accessibility with that information. And then street team training. So this is a program we offer to get people up to speed on our top pressing advocacy campaigns around the region, as well as just building your advocacy skills. So we're hosting a virtual training on May 14th. Adding that to the chat. Oh, I think I was just, sorry, I was like adding things to the chat, but I think I was just text or sending you, Dave, the messages. Sorry about that. You'll get everything in an email afterwards. And then let's see. Bike the Drive is open. That's our big event of the year. It's August 31st this year. So registration is open. And that link. And then one other update, other than you should make sure to attend the Illinois Walk Bike Summit on May 7th and 8th. And there's also going to be another, if you've ever done a lobby day, there's another one on May 21st, organized by IEC about climate. But one of our contract lobbyists, and then there's going to be a lobby day during the bike summit as well. But one of our contract lobbyists made a video about how does a bill actually get passed in Springfield, and then what's useful, like how do you talk to your elected officials, and it's a 20-minute video. I found it to be really helpful. Our lobbyist made this for Illinois Public Health Institute, but it applies to everything, any kind of bill. But he really talks about like the importance of when you do talk to your elected officials, sharing data, usually the elected officials don't remember that type of thing. Like the data is helpful, but they just, it doesn't stick in their mind. They hear a lot of data throughout every day, but it's your stories or sharing a story on behalf of someone else that really make a big difference. And that's what they remember. So just keep that in mind. But I'm just adding the YouTube video there. I thought it was a helpful video. So that's all I have. I saw Brian, do you have a comment or question?
Yes, given that we're the Suburban group and you'd mentioned Bike the Drive coming up, I was wondering if Active Transit is in conversations yet with Metra about ensuring that there are sufficient early enough trains going into downtown so attendees can make those earlier starts. Because I know typically the Sunday and holiday schedule typically means folks are coming in at 10, 10:30 or later in the day, depending on the line.
But yes, thank you, Brian, for reminding me about that. I know you like bring that up every year, and I will flag that for the events team. So thank you, I appreciate it. Awesome. And
Maggie,
Sarah, oh yeah,
I got a question. This goes towards Melissa maybe a little bit. For a long time, IDOT's closed a Salt Creek crossing of 294 in a tunnel at Salt Creek. Do we know when number one, if they plan on reopening that and when? It's the Salt Creek from Cook County where it crosses into DePage. It goes under 294 and it's been closed for construction on 294 for at least 3 years. And I was wondering if you know if they're intending on reopening it or if it's going to remain closed.
I don't have any information on that at the moment, but I can definitely look into it and let you know.
Okay, thanks,
I
Melissa.
saw, I was alerted to that too, and I saw that on the webpage about it. There's a note saying that closures will continue this year. It may be open at some times when it's safe, but it's not looking imminent.
Yeah, there's also been reports that it would be closed through 26. So,
Okay, through 26.
Yeah, I know a lot of people on South are not happy about that.
Well, there's no way. I took the alternative. It went all the way down to almost 35th Street, to go over
Yeah.
the flyover.
I think the webpage even says they're not, I could be conflating with something else, but I think it even said there's no alternate route planned.
I know. So Ben, we have you up on deck. Sarah, did you have a quick comment or question?
I just wanted to ask a quick question just from the beginning of the meeting, and since
Mhm.
you're updating Maggie, was there not relating to the curriculum for walk bike stuff? Was there not already an RFP in progress from IDOT or the state of Illinois and some different department relating to actually putting together a curriculum? Like, is that not something that's already in progress? Because I thought someone from IDOT had actually mentioned that to me when they were talking about like a Safe Routes to School conference happening in a couple years.
Dave, do you have any?
I thought that they had said that they had been mentioned it to you at Active Trans. Is that not a thing that's happening?
Gosh, I
recollect. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I kind of remember there was like talk of it, and then I'm not sure if it is still happening. I haven't heard anything recently. And Dave, I don't know if you are
No,
aware.
not heard anything recently either.
But so it's a statewide curriculum. Is that?
My understanding was there was an RFP that was being developed or was either already in progress or something like that. And that I had thought that Active Trans was actively somehow involved in the conversation or at least knew about it. And I was really surprised when I heard that because I had no idea that something like that had moved along. So that's why I just wanted to follow up
Yeah.
on Dave's update.
Yeah, I'm not aware. I can check in to see if anyone else at Active Trans is aware. And yeah, well, if I find out anything, I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Ben, would you like to share your your
Yes.
bikes on Metro work?
So let me put it in context so people understand. I recently got my mature card for reduced fare on Metra and Pace and all that good stuff. So I've been utilizing it quite a bit, and I started to understand it's a pain in the butt to get your bicycle in and out of the Metra cars. I've been meeting with Jason Thomas, who's the senior mechanical engineer. He's the bike guy. And over the course of 6 months of coffees, we decided to put together a focus group / workshop about how to get bikes on and off Metra safely and effectively. And what I'm most happy about is there was a 90-year-old that came and participated. And he even said he walked away and learned something. So it's a pro bono type thing that I'm working with Metra just to figure out what we might be able to do. I've also created a grant to AARP, should they be interested to get some funding to ultimately provide workshops, and not only for the mature audiences, but for other target populations. There's not a lot of adaptive equipment out there to get your bicycle on and off. We're not going to be talking about e-bikes or trikes at this stage of the game. But I wanted to alert that. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Maggie and ATA, because as this call has grown, it's been able to create leverage points. In conjunction with this Metra initiative that I'm doing, Ride Illinois also does a lot of stuff with Cook County Forest Preserves. And through one of my clients, Burke Engineering, a shout out to them. They're a big supporter of ATA and Ride Illinois. They're throwing in pro bono GIS work, which stands for Geographic Information Systems, which I don't know anything about, but ultimately to create a Cook County map that shows metro lines and how to get safely to the forest preserves. And I eventually will get into the surrounding counties. We're just kind of slowly growing. And ATA has some past data files that map out good routes to the forest preserves and through them, and ultimately connecting with another metro line, okay? Another station. The details, you can reach out to me. I also wanted to bounce this idea off of people. The concept of, you're familiar with critical mass? Well, what if we had critical mass packed the Metra one day I see Valerie smiling and Maggie. Yeah, it's kind of like put it out there and so be it. Kind of a Grateful Dead type thing, you know? But as we all know, it's all about metrics and data. Metra counts every bicycle that comes onto a train. And wouldn't it be interesting that all of a sudden they had a spike in the data that came across? Last but not least, I highly recommend the book, the first third of it, Killed by a Traffic Engineer. It's good. The last 2/3 is a little redundant. And Ride Illinois is actively looking for an independent mechanic that wants to join the ride. We can work out the details, but there's not a lot of bike shops left in the DeKalb, Sycamore, Rochelle area. And Maggie, is it congestion? You look, how you feeling?
Yeah, I have a cold passed on from my daughter, but I'm okay.
Oh, no. But if you want more information about some of the crazy concepts I have, or want to get involved in Metra, and it's interesting about Bike to Drive, because they have to rent time on different lines because they don't own all the tracks. But Jason's a good connection. But stay tuned for more information about Metra, maps, and how we might get support if we don't get funding to figure out how we do it. I think the conductors will kick off the excess bikes or not allow them. Yeah, but there's a lot of train lines and a lot of stations. You can get up to like 2 or 3 bikes per car. But yeah, so be it. They get kicked off, they just go to another car. Hopefully that covers what you wanted me to
Yeah,
cover.
no, thanks, Ben. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more updates about as things progress with that, and maybe if there's another focus group or this critical mass on Metra event.
Or if there's an independent mechanic that's looking to
Or
spend 6 days and hang out and meet 150 people.
right. So anyway, so I know there was a lot to cover today, I guess. We have a few more minutes left. Anyone have anything else they want to quickly share with the group?
Ryan, I'm excited.
Um, and just so you know, so in case you were on the last call, so I'm expecting another baby probably sometime in May. And so I will be out on leave this summer. Some of my colleagues, I still have to chat with them about like just making sure that all of you are informed. Like I'm imagining a lot of you are on our email list already, so that's the best way to stay updated. But hopefully you'll be hearing from some of my colleagues like Jim Merrill or Alex Perez about updates happening in the suburbs this summer. But I will.
Maggie, quick last
Oh, yeah.
question for you. Do
Uh-huh.
you need the link for that movie Saturday, or do you already have it?
I think we have it. We have it
All
on
right,
the
just
website, and I'll
checking.
make sure to share all of your events as well in the follow-up email. And please feel free to send me if you have anything that comes your way. I will get it to our communications team to share out. Because we want people to turn up to your events, and I love that so many of you are organizing fun biking and walking events. So thank you all. Great to see you. And yeah, and I'll probably see you in the fall. But one last shout out to the Illinois Bike Walk Summit.
Yes.
That's going to be a great event to
Have a
actually
great
see people
summit.
in real life. So register if you haven't already and spread the word May 7th and 8th. All right.
Good to see everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.